This is the game that has you bust, and she just keeps sucking. This is the conclusion we came to, my best friend and I, when we were discussing Crimson Desert. At times, there are moments where I'm stopped in my tracks. We slowly turn the camera to take it in, and I'm overwhelmed. I have this incredible sense of appreciation for what Pearl Abyss created here. And to be here in this moment, feeling like it's Skyrim all over again. Then Pearl Abyss drops update after update, week after week. To have the game developer treat me this well after I just got done refracting from the game experience itself, and there's no eShop, there's no microtransaction to be found anywhere in sight. Weeks after launch, Pearl Abyss actively listened to players' feedback, and they responded faster than I have ever seen happen. A couple of weeks in, they heard the call, and they delivered for more mounts. I'm currently running around Pywell on the legendary White Grizzly Bear that I beat into submission. It can help you during combat. You can swipe bandits with its paws, and it roars and stuns enemies. It does so quite effectively. This is a $20 bear. You know what I'm talking about? Other developers wouldn't give you a mount half this functional for anything less than $20. So I've been in the Crimson Desert groups on social media, and I didn't see one complaint about the mounts after that first patch. A week later, as a small note on a long list of features to come, more mounts. Pearl Abyss, the dev that makes you bust and keeps coding. Since Skyrim. There's been some incredible coverage done by other channels on the gaming industry. People like a Luke Stevens. He's been watching Todd Howard very closely. I've arrived at a similar conclusion after just watching a lot of Todd speaking, seeing what the company has and has not done. The fact that Elder Scrolls 6 still isn't here, I've lost faith. If you weren't there on November 11th, 2011, Skyrim dropped. It was a cultural movement to be a gamer at that time. Literally everybody and their grandmother was playing this game. The legacy of Skyrim has been cemented over the years. I saw it time and time again as new RPGs keep getting compared to it. Years later, how does it hold up to Skyrim? It was the golden standard for an open world RPG, really an open world adventure. I remember hearing random conversations at work. One guy referred to another as a Redguard comrade. He responded, "Ah yes, my Nord brother." They were grown men in the military. We were also the same boys who grew up wishing we could disappear to another world for a while. That's what it's all about. It's about the journey you go on. Like Bilbo, you set out into a fantastical world filled with wonder and monsters. The story is one we write along the way. The adventure you went on as a player, the unique path that you took, the moments of discovery and awe, the horrors. I burst into laughter as a giant slammed his club into the ground and sent me to the Cloud District. Ever since I hit that high, there hasn't been another game like that. I put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into Skyrim. I could have easily passed 1,000 when it was all said and done between the different consoles that I played on. No game has been able to send me to the Cloud District like that until now. Crimson Desert. I had been watching this game for months before launch. A collection of YouTubers whose opinions I trust were following it and reporting on it. They got hands-on previews like many before launch. I had the same thought. This seems too good to be real. Too good to be true. Is this even a real game? I mean, we live in such a time that a compelling, chopped up video that looks visually impressive doesn't mean anything. We've also been burned too many times as fans of compelling single-player games. There's always a catch. Ever since Skyrim's launch, no game has fully captured that same feeling that Skyrim did. For years, we clamored for more, and then when we finally did get something new that was in the Elder Scrolls world, it was Elder Scrolls Online. It's a fine game, but fundamentally different from the core formula of Elder Scrolls games that we know and love. And the world kept spinning. Games like The Witcher 3 are notable for side quest content, well-written stories, and some of its combat systems. Many other games would launch with big, sprawling open worlds. We've even seen the launch of games like Avowed. These are games from developers clearly attempting to fill a void in gaming, a certain niche, a certain feel, a look, a type of game. But as we know, not quite filling out the shoes. There was once a time where Bethesda was on top of the world and Todd Howard was the king. Nobody can make a game like they could. And today, the landscape has changed. Expectations have drifted rather far. Myself and others started thinking, I'm not sure if Bethesda can even still make a game like Skyrim anymore. Riding atop my magical teleporting grizzly, looking out at the absolutely gorgeous and packed world of Pywell, 200 hours in, and still so much land to discover, so many mysteries, so much wonder. Maybe, no, not maybe, I can say with confidence that for me, this game is the game I've been waiting for. Crimson Desert has arrived. The world is bigger, more densely packed and filled in. The combat is a power trip in a world saturated with challenging bosses and unique, interesting locations. I forgot what I was working on hours ago because around the new corner, I find something new and interesting. This is a vague sensation comprised by many little factors, decisions, and achievements within Crimson Desert. And then it starts to feel like something more. It's not just a comparison to older games. It is its own game. And it happens to answer the call of many passionate gamers, reminding us of why we fell in love with gaming in the first place. Why Crimson Desert is so special. I was actually shocked, but not surprised, when the game came out and people got their hands on it. There was a variety of responses. What stuck out to me was the change in gaming, the passage of time. People seem to forget. As a community of video game lovers, I don't like that line, have we forgotten what it feels like to not have your hand held, to have a game demand you to slow down to properly digest it? Crimson Desert is not a meal that you house in 5 minutes and move on. It's a 5-course meal that comes out on individual little plates with presentation, a little gilded ring around the edge, a backstory that you don't really give that much of a damn about, and you just want to eat. On one hand, it embodies the idea that there is no wrong way to play it. You can go anywhere, do anything, and discover what's there. But I think you wouldn't really understand all the flavor that's on the plate if you just rushed through it. I had this experience with one of the greats, Red Dead Redemption 2. I did not like this game at first, but I recognized something. I wasn't in the mood for it. I could see this was a good game, and it had a different pace to it. Every time I shoot a deer for a pelt, you gotta steer your horse to a halt, close to the corpse, get off the horse, walk slowly around the animal, look down and skin it. You watch the animation every time as Arthur peels off the hide of the target. Then you put the rolled up pelt on your shoulder and walked over, place it on the ass of your horse. Hop on, hit the dusty trail again. I had a hard time connecting with the slower, more methodical pace of RDR2. I spent 2 weeks playing some balls-to-the-wall, fast-paced action game just to get it out of my system. I sometimes call it the gaming itch. You just got this itch for a type of game experience you want to have. After 2 weeks of banging $2 game hookers in a hotel, I was ready. I had cleared my head and I could focus again. The Wild West called. RDR2, to this day, is one of the greatest games I've ever played. It is the example of why I call video games art, with a capital A. Even still, I had a hard time getting into it initially. Around Crimson Desert, there's been a conversation about this might not be a game for some people, for everybody. I suppose that is true of all games, though. This is a part of that shock I had. Has Fortnite and Call of Duty and other games like this really cooked the brains of the gaming audience that much? Have you guys run through too many half-baked Assassin's Creed games that were long for the wrong reasons? And if you don't enjoy this game, there's no shade here. I hated Baldur's Gate 3. I see and respect what that game is. I know I'm in a small camp of people who didn't like it. I don't think I need to go through the reasons why I didn't connect with it. My best friend is one of those people hoping I'll go back and play it someday with fresh eyes and in really enjoy the story. But sometimes a game doesn't work for you, and that's okay. But on that note, Crimson Desert is worth the investment of time. I am saddened for the people who have bounced off this game, not connecting, or feeling friction in the systems. There really is an outrageous level of content and systems and stuff to explore in this world. With no microtransactions in sight, I can say without a doubt, this game is more than worth the price tag. Pearl Abyss and updates to Crimson Desert. Understand where I'm coming from on this. It feels like Elder Scrolls 6. I feel like this is the second coming. But then to be treated so well by a developer that listens to the feedback and actually responds and implements updates to an absolutely eye-watering pace. Unlike Bethesda, Pearl Abyss drops free updates that would be considered 10 separate $20 eShop transactions by another company. I'm not joking about this fucking bear. I love him. And he was free. He's just in the game. He's just out there. Major complaints regarding controls, performance, storage, fast travel, puzzle clarity, boss difficulty, they just fixed all that. Most players didn't even see the bosses in their original incarnation. Some of the stuff they fixed was only seen by people who had early access to the game. If you haven't seen it, just go to the official Pearl Abyss website and read the entire list of known issues and coming changes. They're rolling out updates through the summer, all for free, making substantial additions and fixes to the game. I'm waiting for the update bringing the camps and the castles that are reoccupied by enemies, giving you endless hordes. Also the re-challenging of bosses that you already beat. A sort of boss rush thing, but not really. Remember that everything I've said, Bethesda straight up doesn't even know how to code that stuff into their own engine. And they, among many others, would charge you a premium for every individual item that is listed on Pearl Abyss's free updates. This does actually have me wondering, how far does it go? We have plans out through the summer, which means Pearl Abyss team got caught up with most of the pressing feedback from players and organized the remaining items. They even alluded to further chances to explore. They even alluded to some other further opportunities to explore combat, whatever that may be. None of that has a price tag on it. Will they extend the update list beyond the summer? Honestly, they wouldn't need to, and I would be completely dried out by the end of it all. Do they follow this wave with paid DLC content? Because at this point, shut up and take my money. That's all I gotta say. Ravenous support in the Crimson Desert. As it came closer to launch, it was looking more and more like this was the game. I believe that expectations will make or break your experience with any game that you play. I didn't come into this hoping for some deep narrative stacked with branching dialogue options that result in you getting shit endings, even when the dialogue seems to have no mechanical significance. I'm looking at you, Witcher 3. To be honest, I don't want or need all my games to have dire repercussions just because I said what was in my heart. Ciri, I'm not here to tell you the story is bad. Some people believe so. I had a neutral expectation. I'm mostly here for all the other stuff. And the story being a thread to pull me around the world is fine. Like I said, it's about the journey we make along the way. It's about the headcanon in your mind, the voice that speaks on behalf of your main character. I believe the story is not something detracting value from the game for me. And yes, I understand Pearl Abyss acknowledged the story could have been better. Such is all art that we make. You always find something after it's done. There actually has been a ravenous formation of fans in the Crimson Desert groups. I understand because it's annoying to see people missing the point entirely and taking a public shit on something you like. However, it does start to implode on itself when you start dogpiling people who just said that they love the game. And Pearl Abyss is openly taking in player feedback, and they offer constructive feedback, and they're catching strays. People in these social media groups just need to calm down. It's fine. You can give games feedback. Okay, I'm gonna skip that line. You know what? Fuck that. Skyrim is still a busted game to this day, and if there were a Hall of Fame for gaming, it's on a gilded pedestal. It is tricky though, because you don't want to just implement a patch for every passing moan and groan. So far, Pearl Abyss has done a really good job striking a balance for updating the game, I think. It would be a shame to just see some of the character and personality stripped out just because somebody else used it as a friction point for enjoying the game. Take the world puzzles, for example. You might see all the pieces and just know what has to happen. Then you find another puzzle somewhere else, and it's asking you to do something you haven't seen in a game before. run around the area dragging your eyeballs over every bumpy surface in the environment trying to figure out what in the fuck. Sometimes you see it and the game is straight up telling you to run to locations on a map that is painted on a dark wall, which will give you the answers you need to complete the dungeon. This is a feature that could easily be seen as antiquated. You're actually telling me this game wants me to turn around, leave, and track down some marks on a map, get a piece of paper so I can write it down, hit up the other locations, return with the sequence I need, and that's it. There's no yellow paint telling you how to do this. There's no instruction, there's no guide. Sure, you could absolutely look it up online, punch the tiles in the order needed. That's a gaming convention from the days of old. This does not require you to look it up. If you want to save time, it's an option in the modern gaming landscape. That's where you get that sense of awe. I tell my friend, I found some ruins out past the cow farm over there. There's a hidden crevice with a rock wall, and you don't know what's in it. And I don't know what it is, but there's a secret in there. I don't want to look it up. I want to sit here stumped, wondering what the hell is behind this wall, sitting in a chest, waiting for somebody to discover it. That feeling? There was another. In March of 2017, Nintendo released Zelda: Breath of the Wild. That was the last time I knew this feeling. A franchise that had long been plagued by stagnation of formula, it was imbued with a breath of new life. And not just that, but it had a lasting effect on the gaming industry, and what is expected, what is possible with the open world. I had wondered how long it would take for this release to show an impact in the gaming industry. Of course, when you see the elements of a game mimicked in another one, that doesn't mean that it's just going to be good. Often it's the opposite. Crimson Desert adopted a system to climb anywhere, any surface, boundless exploration, and it clearly harkens back to the Breath of the Wild. It was one of those games that the credits rolled and I was sad it was over. That journey of exploration and discovery, new stones to turn over, new systems to learn and figure out, different things you can do, solving puzzles the way you want to, not the way the game tells you. It had to come to an end. If a neuralizer were to be invented, gamers would probably experience the highest usage of this in order to relive their favorite games for the first time over and over. The follow-up, Tears of the Kingdom, was an improvement in many ways. An expansion on the formula they built. Very rapidly, Nintendo presented a new style of open-world games that ran to its conclusion. Those games did everything they needed to with 2 installments. So much so that I don't think they would make a third. I don't think they should make a third. I think what they should do is find a new balance between new and old for their next title. Crimson Desert benefits from being the first of its own kind. It's not the second, third, or 14th entry of a franchise. Within its own contained environment, you shed all your expectations. Yes, the developer made Black Desert, an MMO kind of like this, but the jump into a different player base and a different demographic of gamers seeking something different, this is the first title. This is that moment where you get to neuralize yourself. You get to enjoy the bliss of a fresh journey with eyes that haven't seen this world before. Rules you don't understand. There's no preconceived notion of what this game is supposed to be. Despite getting many comparisons like Skyrim, Breath of the Wild, Red Dead Redemption 2, Dragon's Dogma, Witcher 3, and plenty more, I see Crimson Desert as its own thing. It is not simply derivative of other titles, lazily slapping mechanics together. Where it does take a page from other games, it creates its own feel, its own iteration, or its own innovation. Over and over again, you may find yourself saying, you didn't have to do this. They didn't have to put this here. They didn't have to add this. They didn't have to go this hard on my balls. But they did. Crimson Desert has flaws. I've been gaming since the 90s. And over all those years, I can never say that a game is 100% perfect, even at the time. It might be the best thing that there is at the time, but there's always something that, for my own personal preference, I would have changed if I were the developer. I'm also an artist. Every single illustration or painting I have ever made, I could look at it and find things I want to change. Having a better eye and more skill now, that's the nature of creating something that is made to be seen by the masses. So rather than think of a game in terms of a score, I think of it more about how you feel playing it. If you can meet the game where it is and accept it for what it is, there's a lot to love here. While playing Crimson Desert, it hit a certain threshold. Not a number score, not a player-based score, not a number of sales. not a valuation of worth to the dollar. It's that feeling of sadness that follows the joy. One day I will finish this game and it will be over. Crimson Desert, a new era. I don't know what could possibly pull me away from this game. As it is currently scheduled, Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out at the end of the year. The entire industry has been watching this Titanic of a game, trying to get out of the way. I like talking about the game of the year all year. What is the best game that's going to drop? Many would default to GTA 6 being a nominee at the bare minimum for the game of the year. I'm going to riot if the award show comes and a game that launches days before the cutoff sweeps the game of the year. Crimson Desert is out here in the trenches, winning over the hearts of millions and holding their attention on a single-player open-world game. I'm sure GTA 6 will be good, fun, but Crimson Desert has already got its hooks in me. I don't know what's going to pan out at this year's show, but I already got my game of the year. Crimson Desert is rapidly cementing its place as an all-timer for me. 200 hours in, and I'm not trying to cross the finish line. I'm not there yet, but my wait for Elder Scrolls 6, that's over. I'm done waiting for Bethesda. I could yap about every detail in this game for a very long time. I haven't even mentioned the systems like the Greymane Camp, how it integrates with the world's settlements that you liberate, or how it doesn't get old, running an armbar on a bandit through a tree and seeing his pants flying off. It is so much the little systems as well, the details of which there are many, that all come together to form this game, blemishes and all. I'm gonna go get back to Pi Well, and I hope you enjoyed listening to my video. What are your favorite parts so far? If you're playing it, are you writing a story of your own adventure out there? What happened to you when you left Shire? Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for future videos. I think you know what I'm gonna be playing for a while, so if you like Crimson Desert, stick around. I'll leave the end of this video with some screenshots I've been taking and maybe some shots of the gameplay. I've been loving this adventure so far. I rate this game, Where the Hell is My Wife out of 10. Peace and love.
Cerulean that put the sea to shame. Streaks of sunlight striking stone, dappling the earth with viridian hues. Ah! How could anyone tire of such a sight?
Don't ask me. You've got the pickaxe.
What? Oh, it's trembling! My excitement made manifest has moved me most literally!
Diedrich!